Is cruising something you have been interested in, but at the same time you're scared or nervous and just not sure if that's something you really want to do solo because you're visually impaired or totally blind, and so you've kind of stayed away from it?
Not sure what kind of expectations to have or what type of accommodations might be on your ship or on your trip? Stay tuned, listen to what we've got to say as we talk about our latest adventure on the Norwegian Dawn, our first cruise together, coming up next.
Welcome to this episode of R&C Adventures. I'm Christy.
And I'm Ricky, and we're so glad you joined us for this video. And like I said, we are here to talk to you about our latest adventure with cruising visually impaired / blind. We're going to call it the blind side of cruising. We're going to start a series where we talk about different things to expect, accommodations, how to book a cruise, all those things that you need to know. But this first episode is going to be an introduction just to talk about what experience we had on a wonderful trip to Nassau, Bahamas and back to Miami. Before we do that though, Christy, why don't you tell everybody maybe about what, going into it, what some fears. This was the first time you ever cruised.
Absolutely. I didn't know what to expect at all. I knew for a long time that I wanted to go on a cruise, and the whole time Ricky's like, this is gonna happen, and I kept trying to find friends, sighted friends, that to go with us. It's like, hey, yeah, you want to go on a cruise with us, and and it never worked out that anybody could go with us, and I'm glad that it worked out that way, because in the end I felt better that Ricky and I went on our own because we found out we could, and it wasn't a problem. We had so much fun, just the two of us. We needed that alone time together without our phones, without any work stuff, without anything. But fun and enjoyment. And so, yeah, I was scared of, well, what if we get out there and we don't have anybody to help us find this, or we can't find that, or, what if we don't know where to find the certain restaurants or this or that. And
what if we can't find the ship when we come back from our excursion?
Yeah, what if we get stuck in another country? That's a whole nother scary thing on its own. How do we get back? So yeah, there was all kinds of fears that I had that comes along with it.
Yeah, and for me, this was my second cruise. I went way back when, probably about
13 years ago?
14 years ago, yeah. And when I went my first time, two things were different from this time. The first time, I had a completely sighted person to go with me. Secondly, I had quite a bit of vision in my right eye myself. So there was times during that particular cruise that I did walk around the cruise ship by myself. Was a little uncertain because, you, as a visually impaired person anyway, you're always uncertain of kind of where you're going, and don't want to run over anybody or anything like that. But, I was able to navigate pretty well then. So this time, I was nervous that being totally blind, was I going to get the same experience? Was I going to enjoy some of the same things that I enjoyed last time? Or was I going to be maybe more seasick now because I was totally blind this time and couldn't, that sometimes vision and being able to see, being able to focus on a certain central point is a way to kind of counter the seasickness. But of course, totally blind, I wouldn't be able to do that. So I wondered about that. I wondered about just in general. It's been a long time since I'd done that. It was the joy of cruising still going to be there? And I'm happy to say that it was. It was still there. It was exciting. It was great. we had a lot of fun, as Christy said, and I would highly encourage anybody to spread those wings, have an amazing adventure on a cruise ship, go somewhere new. We went on an excursion that we'll tell you about that I was a little nervous about because I just wasn't sure, would this give us the same feel? Would I be able to tell some of the same, would it be descriptive enough? Would it be anything I really enjoy, or was I just paying this money out for nothing that I would enjoy?
Yeah.
So it was all those things. And then, you had some other fears of, well, okay, so we've got maybe somebody to help us here or there, but then all of a sudden they're just going to turn around and leave us, and here we are in the middle of nowhere. And how in the world are we, as two visually impaired people, going to navigate this big old ship? So those were all fears that we had. And so we'd like to tell you about how wonderful of a time we had and why it was so wonderful. So what we should do is we should start by saying, early in the process, about 3 months out, we started looking at what cruise did we want to take. Christy always wanted to go to the Bahamas. That was her destination, and I had already been to the Bahamas in my previous cruise, but was willing to go back, obviously because I had such a wonderful person to go with and have a new adventure with. But we booked our cruise, and the person that was helping us book our cruise was talking about some accommodations that we could get. And she was talking about that there's a disability office that you can contact and tell them about your trip, and they'll help you with certain accommodations on the ship. And so we were excited to hear about that, but as we got going through the course of the 3-month wait period, that was the hardest part, wasn't it?
It was. Yeah.
We were just dogs of counting down how many days it was, and boy, you better believe we were counting them down. And we kind of thought at first we were kind of forgotten. So through the help of Ira and calling a million times to customer service to talk to them about certain things and ask questions, etc., we wanted to we got nervous looking at some videos from other YouTubers that are doing some great work on YouTube, talking about some tips on where's your cabin located. Is it above below the deck where the pool deck is, and is it really noisy where you're at, or are you at an elevator? So one of the things that we did was we checked out using the deck maps. We had someone help us with looking at and call the customer service to confirm that. Turned out just by luck that our cabin was at the aft part of the ship. It was 2 turns out of the elevator and 8 doors down, and we were there. That was wonderful. It's something that we could say, okay, we count the doors, no problem. So that was a great thing to learn going in. Then we thought, Christy, we were forgotten about the disability office, or from the disability office, because we didn't really hear anything until about a week out, did we?
Right.
And then when we did get an email from them saying, hey, we're glad to see you be on the ship next week. Please, when you get on the ship, go to customer service and ask for your access officer. That's what they call them. And they will be able to give you a tour of the ship and help you in any way that you need, which was...
And this was for Norwegian.
This was Norwegian. That's a good point.
Mm-hmm.
We should say this is the only cruise that we've done so far with Norwegian. It was on the Norwegian Dawn, and so we can only speak about them right now. But I know, you know what I know, Christy? Somebody watching this video is going to donate some money so that we can go on another cruise really quick. And we won't even have to wait till we save up the rest for the next trip. But no, this is actually to kind of go back just a second, this is the whole reason we started this channel. Christy and I was looking, as we were doing our research to get ready for the cruise, we were looking for people who were blind that maybe had went on a cruise and videoed it. And we found, what, 1 or 2 videos here and there?
Yeah, very few.
But it wasn't, it was people that had went with sighted spouses or friends. And of course, that's great and things. But for Christy and I, that's not an option for us. Unless we find other spouses, and I don't plan on doing that anytime soon. Just for the record, okay? But anyway, so we thought that finding a way to talk about our experience on cruises, and how you go about it, how you work with the disability office or access officers, then this would be a great way for us to get the information out through YouTube to you guys, so that you could be encouraged to do it yourself. So we are right up to the week of the cruise. It's time to go. We are on. We have packed. We have watched every video, checklist. We have done it all.
We spent a month packing. What are you talking about?
We really did. We really did. And that's another video that we're going to do here soon, is not just a video on what to pack, but we're going to talk about what a visually impaired or blind person probably should think about packing with them, to make sure.
There are lots of videos out there of how to pack, what to pack. Ours is going to be a little bit different because, if you're visually impaired or blind, you have to have a few extra things to think about that you need to pack. Mm-hmm. So that's what ours will include.
That's right. And so we're on embarkation day, on the first day of the cruise. We get up way early in the morning to grab our flight from Nashville to Miami, and we get there. Folks, we landed. Now, for those of you that cruised before and are watching this video, you're really gonna
think we're exaggerating.
Yeah, but we are telling the truth. It to the minute, from the moment we landed and got off the plane, I checked the time, to the moment we were standing in our cabin was our stateroom, was 2 hours on the dot. Now, what that included was, we got off the plane, we met our meet and assist after we convinced them we didn't need a wheelchair and that we could just follow them. We walked down to the
baggage
claim with them. We got our bag.
That took the longest, really.
Yeah.
Was waiting for the bag to circle around with our little keychain beeper, waiting to hear our beep.
Luggage
tag beep.
Yeah.
That took longest.
It did. And then we walked across an aisle. It wasn't that far at all. And we were there at the Norwegian desk. We had set it up through Norwegian to include our flight, our transportation from the airport to the port and back, and we arranged all that through them. So what we did was we checked in at the Norwegian desk. They immediately took our checked luggage that was going to go on the ship. They took that from us, and they personally escorted us out to the bay outside the doors, where we were to meet our coach bus to take us over to the port.
And waited with us.
And they didn't grab us and pull us across the way and say that.
No.
They were very courteous. They really showed us respect.
They verbally just said, please follow me, and we followed. And
yeah, I believe they even asked, can you see well enough to follow me, or do you need to hold on? Yeah. And so we said we'd follow. They said, please follow me. Took us right there and waited with us. Made sure we got on the right bus, because when you go on a cruise, you go out a door and there's like all these bays. If you've ever rode Greyhound before, it's like that. There's just bays for buses, and you're always nervous. I don't know about you, maybe you're not, but I am always, when I ride Greyhound,
that I'm going to get on the wrong bus.
Oh my God, am I getting on the right bus? So that was something we did. We got on the bus. We sat towards the front in the front seat. Not necessarily because we had to, but just because we wanted to make sure, we were where we could be seen and all that good stuff. And of quite frankly, was the first seat we came to. So
Right.
it worked. But anyway, the coach bus drove us over to the port, 15, 20 minutes from the airport. Not a bad drive at all, especially we got off at 9:30 a.m. So, you know, we were traveling by 9:45, 10 o'clock. We were traveling. We weren't supposed to leave until 10:30, but
Yeah.
we left early and got over there. When we got to the, you want to tell them about when we got to the port in Miami?
When we got there, it was actually kind of interesting riding the bus. He gave us a impromptu tour on the way over.
Very descriptive, very funny guy.
Yeah, very descriptive, funny tour of Miami. That things
Actual.
we never even knew. I never knew anything about, a lot about Miami, but I left Miami knowing way more about it than I knew. And he informed us on the way that was the only ship that was boarding at that particular time that day. So we didn't have to worry about other
Lucky.
ships.
Mm-hmm.
So it was the only one that was docked there. So there was only one to worry about. We didn't have to worry about getting in the wrong line. We just followed the crowd, went in the door, went through the line. They assisted us through the security, and we just kind of went with the crowd, and then was asked by one of the staff, if we could fill out the health form, and we asked her for assistance, and she's like, absolutely. So she helped us fill that out and asked if we needed assistance to the desk.
You know, and let me stop you there, because not only did she help us fill it out, but I think it's part of the protocol, but she read word for word everything that we were.
Yeah, and she said it was
signing.
protocol.
Yeah.
She had to read it to both of us.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah. So
Yeah.
she, even though she read mine in front of both me and Christy, she read both of them because it was protocol, and she wanted to make sure she.
I couldn't just say yes because I heard his.
Yeah.
I had to let her reread the form again and answer the questions.
Right.
And then took us up to the desk. We got all of our stuff squared away.
Gave them all of our credentials and
Yeah.
got our room cards.
Yep. We got our room cards, got our picture taken, all that good
Did
stuff.
all the signature things we needed to.
Yep, and then went upstairs.
Yeah, she took us upstairs.
We sat down, and then they were calling for anybody that needed extra time
Boarding,
to board.
Sort of like when you go to an airport. We now welcome aboard any passengers with disabilities. So we were leading the line, really, to get on the ship.
We were following a couple other people, which was good because I needed somebody else to follow.
Right.
And it was a zigzag, and then I told Ricky, I said, I think we're on the ship. He goes, no, we're not. And I said, I think we're on the ship, and we kept walking.
I just couldn't believe it.
Oh, we're on the ship.
Once again, you were right and I was wrong. Surprise, surprise.
And so then we're just kind of like walking through the doorway, kind of following the crowd, and finally found somebody that looked official and asked where the customer service was. And
yeah, I mean, they asked us, is there something we can help you with?
Yeah.
And we were like, well, yeah, we'd love to find the customer service. And as we were walking on, another passenger had asked, are the rooms ready? And they said, no, they won't be ready until 1 o'clock, which is, from what we found through all of our research and what I remember from my previous cruise, is about right. 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, a couple hours after you board the ship. And so we were like, oh, okay, well, let's go check in. Yeah, we had the attitude that we had been told to check out.
Just kind of roll with it.
See what happens and have a real flexible time. And I can't recommend that too much because that's what makes your trip. So we got to customer service and asked to speak with the lady. What was her name again? She. That's right. She was her name. And wonderful woman came and met us at customer service. She is considered the access officer, at least on Norwegian.
Or at least on the Dawn.
At least on the darn. Yeah, I guess that's what we can say at this point.
Yeah.
And so she said to us, "Are you ready to go to your room? Your room is ready. I just came from there." Well, heck yeah, let's go. We got some baggage to drop off. It'd be great. See our room. We was excited. We had a beautiful balcony room. And so we took off, and she led us from the main grand atrium, grand atrium, where the customer service and everything was, through back to the aft elevator. She pointed out everything as we were going. I mean, this tour was probably one of the best tours of anything.
It was a quick tour, but it was a good one.
Yeah, I mean, she was pointing out, here's the photo gallery. That way is to the Bliss Lounge. Here's the.
It would have been a good time to have a recorder handy.
It would have. I wish we would have, because that was really great and probably something we could have used at least that first day or so.
Yeah.
But she pointed out this is the dining room area that is closest to you and will be the one where you do your mustard drill at. She had already scoped that out and found that out for us. So we go on the elevators, we go upstairs, we make our right off the elevators, our left down the hallway. 8 doors down, sure enough, is our room. But guess what? When we got there, she had put a sign on the door for Christy to see in large print, right? Mm-hmm. And what was on that sign? Just our number? It was
just our number, but it was just the fact that there was something different
on
the door.
Yeah, it was something different on the door that we could see immediately. Mm-hmm. So we got in our room. She showed us around our room.
Which we will also have that video of too.
Yes, with a beautiful audio description by Ms. Christie. Madame. I think she would prefer me to say that after all those people on the ship called you Madame. But so she showed us around our room. It was interesting because it was different than the room I'd stayed in before. It was, just very interesting to kind of get the quick tour of it, which, of course, as blind and visually impaired, once we came back to the room and we weren't with her anymore, we, of course, explored a lot more.
Right.
So we left with her from there, and we went
all over the ship.
And what I should say before that is the moment, at that very moment when we were in the room, that was 2 hours from the time we'd got off the plane. Unheard of most of the time. We went on a tour of the entire place. She took us deck by deck. She asked us, "What are your plans? Are you having any specialty dining?" And we said, "Well, yeah, we have reservations tonight and on Saturday." And so she showed us where both of those restaurants were. She then took us back down. I mean, we walked everywhere, all the public areas you would need to on the ship. She even showed us where her office was located and invited us to come at any point in time to talk with her if we needed to. She said, "Though I probably won't be in my office, I'll probably be somewhere on the ship," because not only was she helping with access passengers, she was also the group passenger coordinator. Mm-hmm. So she was doing double duty. And so, she showed us around the pool area, the
theaters, the buffet. Yeah.
Every restaurant. We knew where every restaurant was. We found the casino. She showed us, all these areas. And I was so overwhelmed. I really was. I was like, I don't know if Christy's getting into this. I pray to God she is, because I got it for about the first, 30 minutes of the tour. And then after that, I was like, oh, my head's swarming, and it was just crazy. So, matter of fact, I remember we were down at the casino area, and the casino was on the right, and it's a big open space, and then there's these 3 lounges or stores on the left side of the quote hallway, but they were all open areas. So it was one big. It reminded me of a mall.
Yeah.
You know how you are with the storefronts and the mall's just kind of wide open like that.
Right.
And I looked at Christy and I go, "I hope you know where we're at, because I sure as heck don't. I don't even know where we just came from."
That's her. She dropped us the she hands, and we were all good.
Yeah. So then she said, "Well, you guys should think about lunch. Restaurants are open." And we said, "Okay." We ask her questions along the way. One of the things I think, before I forget it, I'd like to make sure we mention is maybe you could tell about at the buffet and how nervous we were about. I mean, heck, a blind person going to a buffet is already probably most people avoid them like the plague if they can, unless they have a sighted assistant there with them. And so we were nervous about. We had no plans whatsoever to eat the buffet.
we had no plans, but we wound up eating there. I think like 3 different times.
Yeah. And will you tell everybody about how she showed us, assisted us with that?
Yeah, well, we kind of varied from what she said. She had told us that there would be a person in white that we could find, and
they'd be standing in a
they would
certain
be
area.
standing in a certain area. So when we walked in, there was a person standing in a certain area, but I don't know if it was the same area that she was talking about. And so we just asked them, and it seemed to work out fine.
Yep.
Just told them that we,
Could we get assistance?
We needed assistance, would like assistance with helping getting food, and she'd call for somebody, and somebody else would call. That person would call for whoever wasn't doing something actively at that moment, and they'd help us go through the line.
And heck, guys, I'll tell you this, I'll admit it right now. We were on vacation, and we took full advantage of the blind card when it came to that. In some instances, we followed them through the line, got our stuff, but they carried our tray to the table for us, and then they said, "Would you like something to drink?" We
tried. No, we tried to help, and they just some of
maybe
them
you
would.
did, but I was going to be on vacation.
Some of them would. Some of them wouldn't let us help. It was just one of those things.
It was one of the things. And then we sit down, and they went back, got a drink, got our condiments, got Christy some creamer for our coffee, this, that, and the other. And then they came back and they checked on us every single time. So that was great. But we went to the buffet area during the tour, and then we went out to the pool area, and everywhere else, like she said. And then we ended up. She said, "Where would you like to go for lunch?" And we said, "Well, I think we're going to try the Oshie hands, because when I found out that you could get included in your ticket 24-hour wings and alcohol at the same place, I was there. That was the plan from the get-go. And probably, I would say, anytime we go to Norwegian, probably will be our embarkation tradition, perhaps. Or at least I hope it will be. Please, honey. But anyway, we went to Oshie Hands and had a great meal. Service again there.
Yep.
Like everywhere. Was just fantastic. Just people.
It was amazing. Just the service. It was amazing on the ship.
And it wasn't like people that just come and grab you or treat you like you're helpless.
Yeah, that was the amazing part to me too. Is that it's not like anybody treated us like we were helpless. We were like everybody else on the ship.
Yeah. May we help you? Is there something I can help you with?
Yeah.
I mean, giving us the opportunity to ask for assistance or not. And everybody out there watching this that's blind, visually impaired, or in that community, you know exactly what we're talking about. And it was so great. Even though it was an Irish pub, it 5-star. I mean, we sit down and they put the napkin on our laps, and it was just great. It was wonderful, and we had a great time there. And when we left at that moment at Oshie Hands, I thought, well, there it goes. That's it. That's the last time we're going to see We're going to have to figure this out on our own. Good luck, Christy. I hope you were able to see and kind of help me figure out later on another orientation of the ship, because that was a lot in 1 hour at a time. But she was really great. She gave us our personal extension. We were able to call her using the ship phone at any point in time, anywhere. We asked her any questions we had. She sent us through email. She sent us any restaurant menus for whatever day. Sometimes the main dining rooms would change, or some of the other menus would change depending on lunch or dinner. But she sent us all of those things in a PDF form that we could download. And she was always there to help us. She called us to check on us from time to time.
A voiceover friendly PDF.
voiceover.
Make
That's
sure
that's very important, isn't
yes,
it? Yes,
it is.
And so we met her one or two times to go back to somewhere that we couldn't remember exactly where it was, and she took us right to it, no problem. And please let me know if there's anything else. It was just great. We had bartenders that especially at the pool
Yeah, that was
bar.
my favorite.
She was so sweet. She would come up to us, Ricky, Christy, within the second time we went there, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Possibly maybe the third.
No, it was the second time.
Was it? Okay, so the second time. I don't know if the first time we drunk all that much to where she was like, yeah, I'm going to remember these people. But she kept coming back to us, come to our table. Most people were having to go back up to the bar and order their other drinks. She came to the table.
She pulled us out of line that first day.
That's what it
and
was,
said,
yeah.
You guys don't need to stand in line.
I'll
Here,
take
have
care
a
of you.
seat right here.
Yeah.
What do you want? I'll
Yeah.
get it for you.
Yep.
I mean,
Very
and then
accommodating.
from that point on, every
She
time
looked
she's
for us. Yep.
seen us heading to the bar,
Mhm.
she would say something.
Yep.
And then that last day that we were out there, she's like, where would you like to sit? In the sun, in the shade? I don't see a seat anywhere open. Give me just a minute. And came back with 2 chairs.
Yeah,
and,
made it and a stool.
And made us a table.
Yeah.
Because there wasn't a table available. And
Yes, she did.
put us in the shade where we wanted to be. So it's like she went above and beyond to make sure we were where we wanted to be, close to the bar, in the shade,
Yep.
and got our drinks. I was like, who does that?
Yeah, really. More than we expected.
Yeah.
So, we, like I said, after we had our Oshi hands, we went back to the room to kind of change into some more comfortable clothes and kind of look at the room a little bit. And got to go out on the balcony, and it was beautiful out there. And so at the same time we were doing that, we were coming back to the room. We met our room stewardess. She was wonderful as well.
Oh, yeah.
She looked for us. There was one day that Christy was looking for the spa to go check on a free offer they were offering, and she said she went looking for it, couldn't find it, couldn't remember where it was, and so came back to the room, was going to just come back to the room and go, don't worry about it, it's not a big deal. And she said, the lady, oh, Christy, how are you today? And Christy said, I'm fine. Do you know, can you tell me where the spa is? And she said, I'll do you one better, I'll take you there. So she left her work and what she was doing and just walked beside Christy up to the spa. And that was great. She brought us ice and really took care of us. So she was very concerned when the first day was rough seas. It was really rough seas. And it was to the point to where we walked out into the hallway and the boat rocked and I went flying against the wall.
You were trying to put sea bands on at the same time.
Yeah, I was like, okay, this is dry. I don't know if I'm getting sick, but my head is just getting tossed around, and my head didn't feel right. And so I was putting the sea bands on to see if that would work. And she was like, oh, Mr. Ricky, are you okay? And, oh, yeah, I'm fine. I mean, she was genuinely concerned.
Mm-hmm.
And, but yeah, so we just, the staff all around, couldn't say more.
Yep.
And we'll just give a brief overview, I guess, to kind of speed things along. Like I said, the first day was a real rough sea day. The next day that we got up, and I was up a little bit earlier than Christy. We were. I was getting ready to call She, and I was calling She to talk to She about. We were thinking about getting off at the private island. Stirrup Cay, is that right? Stirrup Cay, and we to do that we were going to have to get on a tender boat that was going to pull up to the side of the big ship, another boat, and transport us to the dock on the private beach. And so we were really looking forward to that day. We had packed and we were ready to go, and so I called her to say, hey, Christy's still sleeping. I don't think we're going to make that 8 o'clock meeting with you. Can we go a little later? And at the same time I did that is when the captain came on and was saying that the tenders were unable to safely make it to and from the ship because of the rocky seas, so that he was going to cancel the stop, which is something that he has the right to do. The captain has, I mean, he's the authority on the ship, and if he says
it's not safe, it's not safe.
Exactly. And so he said, we're going to speed up and we're going to go straight to Nassau. We'll be there by noon, and we're just going to spend the night in Nassau and have our normal Friday day at Nassau, but you'll have an extra day in Nassau. So she said, so we're going to Nassau. That means that the excursion desk hasn't gotten all the excursions. They're going to have to figure out what excursions they can offer when we get there for today. Would you like for me to call you? When they've got that, I can read you the list and go over that with you, and then if you would like, I can book it for you. Again, super accommodating. So anyway, we ended up deciding to while everybody rushed off the ship in Nassau, we decided to stay on and try to get some pool time and hot tub time and just time to relax. And we had a great time doing that. Turns out, we didn't know this at the time, we accidentally found the hot tub because of the sound of bubbles. So using that second sense that we're so keen with, and we got in the hot tub and relaxed there for a little bit. We found out later on when we were just walking around for kill time and to find some other things, we found out from one of the staff that there's actually, on that ship, there was 4 hot tubs around the corner, each corner of the pool, on the main pool deck. And we didn't know that. and we were, at first, what makes that more funny for us is we were sitting in the pool. We didn't get in. It was very cold. So we just put our feet in, and we're like, well, I really want to get in the hot tub. I don't know where it's at. We'd have to call She maybe and find out. And then I was like, well, there's some bubbling over here. Let's go find it. So like I said, we found it by pure mistake. But Christy's keen detective skills found it for us, and we got to relax. We had dinner the first night. The first night, we had dinner at the steakhouse. Cadney's. Oh my God, was that good? That was great. Mm-hmm. And again, the staff there read the menu to us, no problem. Offered, when the gentleman read the menu to us, which was fine for us, for the most part, I think we got what was on the menu. The manager lady that seated us, she was like, no, he didn't do that right. And she read it to us again. I believe, was she not the one that showed us where everything was on the table? Or was that somebody else? I can't remember.
Believe it was her.
Yeah, and so anyway, she said, I'll take care of you, don't worry about it. And so, it was so funny, but anyway, there was a couple people taking care of us. It was great. We had great food. You got to go there if you're ever on the Norwegian ship. As I understand it, they have them on just about every one of the Norwegian, the Cadneys. Yeah. So we go back to the second day. Again, I don't remember where we dined that night.
I don't either.
Was it a buffet night? No, it wasn't a buffet night.
No, we didn't do buffets for dinner.
No, I think we did the dining room or something. I can't remember. But anyway, Friday, the next day, we went off on our excursion, and we were pretty nervous about it because the excursion ticket said, meet your tour guide beside the ship on the pier. That's another one of those, it's over there things. Going into a store and somebody saying, oh, it's over there. It just felt really, so we were very nervous. We didn't even know where to get off the ship at. So it just so happened she had called and said, you guys have an excursion today. Can I help you get off the ship? Sure, no problem. Okay, meet you in your room in 10 minutes. So we got off of the ship early. She walked us down to the exit door, and found a shelter area where most of the guides would meet their folks, and said, okay, you guys are going to wait here. and she wanted to know what excursion we were on. She looked at our ticket. She was telling one of the gentlemen, the pier staff that was there, can you make sure they find their tour guide? And he said, no problem, you guys just hang out right here. I thought it was neat that she put us near a large object that you could identify visually. But it was in a central place, not too far from the exit of the ship, but not too far from where everybody was at in the hustle bustles to where we could find things. So we were there about, an hour early maybe?
Yeah.
So we decided we were going to do what we do and explore on our own. So we went walking up the pier, and man, I think some of this pier staff might have got a little nervous and went, oh, you can wait right here. But we said, no, we're good. We're just walking. And we didn't walk anywhere where we couldn't find our way back. It was, the pier was huge. And we just walked around and then came back. Our guide found us. She told us to wait right here. She's going to go find the rest of the group, and then we'll all take off. She'll come back by and pick us up. And sure enough, she came by. She said, okay, guys, here we go. And she walked. There was two people, actually, wasn't there? There was her and another gentleman, wasn't there?
No, I think it was just her.
Was it just her?
And took us to the
bus.
To the bus.
Yeah. So she let us stay right behind her. And another thing that just by happenstance was good is she had a radio with all the pier staff talking, and it squawked all the time, didn't it? So we weren't losing her.
No.
It was audio. She had audio. Didn't need bells on her. She had audio. So we got to the tour bus. We actually were surprised when we went to a tour bus because we looked at so many excursions.
We thought it was a walking tour.
We did. And
the only thing that we were really concerned about is that it ended at the distillery. And that was, I think, our most important thing was that it was ending at the distillery.
Right. Well, we weren't sure where the distillery was compared to where we were getting back to. But yeah, we got to the bus, and the guy, I'm telling you what, I hope we actually eventually will show you that excursion. I can't tell you the video is all that good because yours truly did the video, but the audio is just hilarious. This guy was funny.
He was awesome.
He was hilarious. And we went. We did a tour of the Bahamas. We went to Paradise Island. We went to Atlantis. Mm-hmm. Got out of Atlantis and walked around. Yes, we walked around Atlantis in a hotel we had never been in a country never been in. Mm-hmm. And we asked for directions to the bathroom. Yeah. That was the certain thing. And we just kind of walked around in the lobby of the hotel for a little bit, which was huge. And then came back to the bus and found the bus, no problem, got on and did the rest of the tour.
Somebody was trying to direct us to...
That was so funny. They were trying to direct us to the city bus to take us back over to the port.
Yeah, they were.
That's right. We're like, no, dude, we're good. We know what we're doing. And so anyway, we had a wonderful tour. The guy was very descriptive. He told about the scenery, about the trees and the plantation, the buildings,
the government,
the history. The government. Yeah, I mean everything. It probably would have been. So it was. I thought it was great. It probably would have been ecstatic or whatever above great you can think of, if you could have seen it. But it was great in the description. Yeah. And it was very good. We got out at certain places and stopped and walked around. That part, we didn't know what we were... We knew where we were at, but we didn't know some of the things that were around us. So he told us where the bathroom was. We walked to the bathroom. But there were... Like in one spot we stopped at, the... was the fort?
Yeah, the fort.
Yeah, the fort there in Nassau. We stopped there, and there was...
We realized there was tents set up. But
yeah,
it was too
souvenir
late.
tents.
Yeah, but it was too late to get over there.
And we figured that out when everybody's coming back on the bus with their bags of stuff, and we're like, "Well, where'd you get that?" Oh, and it was.
No, I started hearing it after we had come back from the bathroom.
Okay, yeah.
And that was what it was. It's like, oh.
And then we started to walk, and it was time to get back on the bus. Yeah.
Now it's too late.
Right.
And then, of course, our next stop was the distillery, and we weren't going to get our kids any souvenirs from there.
No, let's not do that. Well, but let's just get the adults some, right?
Right.
So, yeah, this was awesome too. It was just by design that it happened this way, I think. But we walked in the door and there was a lady there handing out samples of pineapple. It's like a pineapple slush rum.
Yeah, something like that.
So anyway, she gave her tray up to somebody else when she seen us come in, and she said, "Come on, follow me." And she led us around with the rest of the group that was doing the tour of the distillery. And they had 4 barrel. I got to tell the story. It's going to make the video longer, I know, but I got to tell the story. So we walked through, and we're up on the top part of the platform of this big, gigantic warehouse. That's all it was one room, one big old huge warehouse. And we're up on the top deck, if you will, and down below us is the entire operation of this distillery. I mean, bottling, labeling, packing, everything right there on this one level.
Those corks are hard to get out.
They do put the corks in there to stay. But anyway, they had, as we walked through, they were telling us the history and how it all started and how they labeled it, that it's nothing is exported, etc. They had a shop at the end you could shop at, etc. And as we're going through, they had 4 barrels that were on the side and had a hole cut in it. And you could stick your nose in there and smell the different types of rum. The first one was a year-old rum, and it was they said the weakest of their rum. It was just you could just take shots of it, you could mix it, you could do whatever you wanted with it, but it was not that. It was just a year old. It wasn't that aged. It wasn't that strong. The second one we went to was the one that they said is great to mix in fruity drinks, in the Bohemian rum drinks, etc. And so I believe that was
Amber rum?
Amber, yeah, and it was 66 proof, or
I don't
remember now. Anyway, so we stuck our nose in there, we smelled it, it was great. Chris was like, I really like that. So we went to the third one, and there was a big commotion in front of us, and we were trying to figure out what's the big deal. And the lady said, this one here is 7 years? Yeah, 7 years old. And it is 166 proof. So everybody said, yeah, stick your nose in there, stick your nose. So got there, and I mean, I didn't have my nose but an inch, maybe 2 inches from the hole. And my nostrils just burned. They were flaring, they were just, whoa, the nose hairs were running for cover. And this guy was standing there, he goes, no, stick your nose in there. So I did, and man, I'm telling you what, I came out of there saying some words that I will not put on the video, but I was like, man, that is strong. And Christy got to it, and she was like, woo, whoa. So anyway, we went to the 4th barrel, the final barrel. It was a 5-year-old rum, and it was strong. It was 120 something, 25, 26 proof. It was strong, but it wasn't all that strong. And they were saying that the last 2 were definitely sipping rums. Not as if you had to tell me that on the 3rd one. But anyway, so we went into the store, and there was a lady there, and Christy said, can someone help us find some bottles? We want to take some back. And so we asked them how much. I said, I have to know, how much is that bottle of 166 proof? It was $112. To which I said, my credit card doesn't go that high. So we ended up getting one of the amber rums, and the 5-year, and we brought it back, and we've knocked it out pretty good so far. Been back 3 weeks or so. So yeah. So we were thankful that our ride did not end at the distillery. We actually got taken back to the port.
Right. I didn't mean it ended, but that's
right.
where the tour ended.
Now, I will say that when we got back to the port and we let off the bus, we were kind of on our own to get back to the ship.
Yeah, that was a bit unnerving.
There was a lot of people there, and there was other ships port.
Right, and we weren't
at the ship.
The same place that we got on.
Yeah.
So it was like, where do we go? How do we get there?
Right.
Unfortunately, there was couple of other
old
people.
couple,
Yeah.
they were very
That
kind.
were like,
Just follow us. We're
are
going to the
you-
same ship.
Yeah. Were you on that Norwegian? It's like, yes.
Yep. And so, can I tell your story real quick?
No.
I can't tell that story.
Not yet. No.
All right, we'll do it on Christy's Funniest Bloopers.
Right. We'll do that on the bloopers.
Okay. So anyway, we got back to the ship, thankfully. That night, we had a great night. That night, the next day...
That night was the...
that night was the Brazilian steakhouse.
Yeah, I don't remember what it's called on there, but yeah, it's like a Brazilian
Mun-
steakhouse.
I won't
Can't
even try to
remember.
butcher the
No,
name of it.
I don't
Starts
know
with
either.
M-O-N.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anyway, it's just about on every Norwegian ship. It was a great restaurant. They just
It's
brought
the
you.
other steakhouse.
Oh yeah, and they brought you meat after meat after meat, and
Endless salad bar too.
and we forgot to tell them, or no,
You have a green and red card on your table, and
one side's green, one side's red.
We forgot to flip our card, so they just kept bringing meat. And we were like the only ones, I guess, in there.
At the time,
so
yeah.
it was just like we had people on all sides of us just slicing meat. Do you want this? Do you want this? Do you want this?
And they walked away. There was like 3 or 4 of them at our table at one time, and they walked away. And I said to Christy, I don't know what I'm eating, but I'm going to eat some of this meat that's on our plate, because we could not figure out what it was, but it was hilarious. We quickly, the guy came back. He said, perhaps you'd like to turn over your card
Well,
to...
he said, do you want to take a break?
Oh yeah, that's what he said. Yeah.
And I looked around like I thought he was maybe talking to
Another
employee or something, and I said, "Huh?" I was like, "Is he talking to us?" And he said, "Do you want to flip your cards?" And I was like, "Oh, you are talking to us." That's like, "Yes, please, please, please flip over."
We had so much food on our plate, it wasn't even funny. But we had a great time, and we wanted to try the dessert, as we did, I think, every meal. Did we ever eat a dessert?
We did. We had the chocolate layer in the
Oh,
caddies.
yeah, first steak, yeah.
And I don't know what you got, but I got that
Cheesecake?
7-layer. Oh yeah.
I got the cheesecake.
But
You got this big
7-layer chocolate cake or something.
A crooked letter slice of cake, yeah.
It was really good.
Huge.
But we did not at the steakhouse.
No, but
because
we were too full.
We couldn't hold it.
And everybody had told us, don't eat a lot the day you're going to the Brazilian.
And we didn't.
And we did.
No.
But clearly, we were full, waddling back to the room, and we're planning on going to watch a show that night, but we didn't make it.
No. We went to sleep in a food coma.
Yeah, we did. And then Saturday was a sea day, and we had a great time just checking out the ship. They had a lot of things going on. That's one thing I can say on these ships. They really give you a lot of options, a lot of things to do. And that night, we really cut loose. It was the great thing, and it was the negative thing.
Yeah.
It was the last night, and we really cut loose. For the first time, we relaxed. Excuse me. And that was good. But man, we
It was sad.
we were sad because it had to end. And they had some game shows that we went to, and Christy got nice and lit, and started actually conversating with other people, and being more outgoing than she normally is, and then she ordered 3 more drinks. So, and we did exactly what we said we were going to do. We were going to start the cruise the way we ended. We were going to end the cruise the way we started it.
At Ocean.
And we had so much food on that thing because we had taken a nap around midday. Didn't eat lunch, saving it all for the end of the night. And this was 12 o'clock at night, and we were having wing. I mean, we had every wing they had, and other stuff, and drinks. Let's not forget the drinks. But anyway, so we had a wonderful time. And then the next day, when it was debarkation day, we met with she in a certain meeting spot. She personally escorted us off the ship, and it took us to the pier staff that helped us from the top of the pier to top of beside the ship, all the way down through customs,
To
basically
find our luggage.
out to the front, right?
Yeah.
To find our luggage and through customs, all that. This guy, he could have used a little more work in the fact that he did everything right. He asked to go.
There was a bit of anxiety with
Anxiety
it.
because
Come on, follow.
No,
follow,
this way,
follow,
this way.
this way.
Yeah.
It was.
He kind of rushed us a little
Yeah.
bit and gave us a little bit of anxiety, but it wasn't too bad.
At least he wasn't grabbing us.
Exactly. Yeah, and he was polite in that sense. So got on the bus, made it back over to Miami Airport. There was a nice gentleman there who asked us if we needed assistance. We asked him if someone could help us through the checking in and all that, meet and assist all the way through to the gate. They did that, got us to our gate, got us to a holding place. And then from there, the trip started going sour for many reasons, but I think we can talk about those probably another time.
Yeah.
But anyway,
the trip itself was good.
Yes,
Great.
it was
I could not have asked for a better ship trip experience.
right.
Say that 5 times.
What do you think was the best part?
I don't know. The
On the spot, go.
the trip itself. It was
Well,
just-
yeah. But off of the trip itself, like what was something that you would take away from this based
Spending
on your
time with you.
Oh. But I mean, like, based on this being your first trip, or your first cruise, and the fact that you were nervous about certain things, like you talked about at the beginning of the video, what was something that you were, that you took away from it? Maybe?
The accommodations that were made possible by the cruise staff, the food.
Oh, yeah.
Can't forget the food.
Yep. Yeah, and I would agree on both of those. Something I didn't say about, we didn't talk about, not only did they give us the PDF versions of the, they have a daily agenda that tells you all the activities going on the ship,
Yeah, it's a large
announcements,
print.
sales, all that. So they give it to you on your bed the night before in regular print. We got that through the PDF, but we also, through email, but we also was given large print ones for Christy. And for those of you that use large print, it's the typical,
It wasn't really big enough.
the large paper. Yeah, it was the large paper that typically isn't big enough. Probably met I think she said it was 20 point maybe.
Yeah.
I can't remember, but it was the attempt.
But
The
I took my magnifiers, so I just used the smaller one, and
Yeah.
it was easier to
Yeah.
maneuver with it.
And the other thing she was telling us when we were doing our tour is they actually have embossers on most of the ship. So they can braille anything for you there on the ship. Oh, thermostat.
It's in the video.
Oh, it's in the video. Okay, so check out the video when we post it in a week or so. We're going to Christy's going to describe to you our room. We're going to talk about our balcony. We'll even have a clip in there where we're sitting on the balcony talking about.
Yeah, see how much of that actually took.
Yeah, because we were kind of a little tipsy.
And then his phone died, so
And then
I
my
don't
phone
know
died,
how much
right.
of that actually took. So
Yeah,
thanks for joining us for this episode.
that's right. Please make sure and hit the like button. Most important, please hit that subscribe button.
Share with your friends.
Share it on Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, whatever else is out.
Instagram.
Yeah, like I said the other day, if you have MySpace, go for it. I don't even know if it's alive still. Anyway, please, and please keep sending us the comments, the emails with suggestions. We've got a lot of great things coming up. We're going to...
Those of you that have commented on Facebook, if you comment on here, YouTube, it would be much appreciated.
Yeah, that way we have them all in one place.
Yeah, I've appreciated the comments that have come in on Facebook. If you want us to do a Facebook thing, we can look at doing that. Let us know on here,
Absolutely.
and we can start that.
That's right. So as always, thanks for watching, and remember,
Continue living life to its fullest.
have a great one.
One of the things that we wanted to mention about when we were getting ready for our cruise in the 3 months prior to it, was binge watching YouTube videos about cruising, how to pack for it, what to expect about it. Was the 3 top cruising resources we found helpful, and that would be Cruise Tips TV, Cruise Gear TV, Cruise Gear, okay, and Cruising with Wheels.
So yeah, so Cruise Tips TV is a family of cruisers. Sherry and Mr. Cruise Tips TV and junior editor. They have the YouTube channel Cruise Tips TV. Been doing it for many years now. They have a lot of great videos there. I recommend you check those out. They don't have a disability, but they have a lot of knowledge about cruising. And then Cruise Gear is their other channel that talks about all kinds of gear that you can purchase for cruising, bags and cameras and different things you can do. It's a great channel to check out as well. And then our friends over at Cruising with Wheels sort of was a additional inspiration for us to do our channel. They Frank and Kevin are both run that channel, and they Frank is in a wheelchair, and so people that use a mobility device or a wheelchair need some extra assistance. It's a great
resource for you guys.
Yeah,
as
absolutely.
Well.
Yeah, so make sure to check them out. We're going to link them down below in the description. Please check them out. Let them know that Ricky and Christy sent you, and
RNC Adventures.
RNC Adventures, yeah. And if you have any other resources that you run across that are great things for us to look at as far as YouTube for traveling and cruising, please let us know.
Thanks so much. Bye.
Bye.